Donald Trump is still refusing to concede the election. And now we have a better idea as to why Republican politicians are completely on board with this insanity. And of course, it comes down to money. I'll get to that in a minute. First, let me just show you what Trump is doing right now. Every few hours, there's some outburst like this. We will win at 8:44 in the morning. All right there. Ballot counting abuse. As you see here, Twitter correcting this BS. There is no ballot counting abuse. As I broke down in my other video yesterday covering all this, Trump's own lawyers had to admit that, yes, they had observers in the room watching the ballot counting process. Nothing crazy went on. His own lawyers had to admit this in court. Yet still, we're dealing with this insanity. Also, you have Secretary of State here, Mike Pompeo, saying that there will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration. Now, when he said this, look, some people are taking this literally, that they're going to try and institute a coup and take out Joe Biden. I don't think that's what's happening here. If you watch the actual clip, he kind of gives a smirk when he's saying it.
There will be a smooth transition to a second Trump administration.
Look, the reality is the entire Trump administration is just towing this line right now because ultimately it's a great way to raise money, which again, I will get to in a minute here. I also just want to show you a quick list here. I'm not going to read through these names, but these are the GOP senators who haven't congratulated Joe Biden yet. In fact, only 4 have, if I can bring the names up. So Mitt Romney, Ben Sasse, Murkowski, and Collins have all congratulated Joe Biden on the election victory. Everybody else has not. And of course, comes down to money. Once again, I will get there in a minute. First, the other speculation here about why Trump and Republicans are completely behind this idea. Alex Koch tweeting out here, I'm not the first to theorize this, but sure seems like the GOP is getting behind this next round of absurd, baseless claims of fraud to rally their base on Georgia for the next 2 Senate runoff elections. So 2 upcoming Senate races in Georgia. I guess it's a good way to rally the voters around or keep them engaged in the process, even though Trump lost, pretend he didn't lose and continue raising money and stay engaged in the electoral process. So that's one idea. Another one is one that's been used up until, I believe, today. I'll get to that in a second, but CBS News reporting here, money raised for Trump's election fights would help cover campaign debt. So, of course, the most recent federal campaign finance records available showed the Trump campaign with $60 million cash on hand at the beginning of October. The campaign would go on to spend upwards of $160 million on television ads in the final month before the election. So, potentially there they had around $100 million in campaign debt, which a lot of that money that they're raising for this recount effort or whatever the hell the GOP are doing, a lot of that money was going to pay off these debts. In fact, 60% of it, of any of these GOP donations. So if you have, a Trump supporter in your life who gave money to this insanity, 60% of that went to helping Trump pay off his campaign debt, not to this election defense fund. But then if you go down to read the fine print today, the text is changed a little bit as the money is going to save America. Now, before I get to what Save America is, this from CBS, for each contribution made to the Trump campaign's joint fundraising committee with the Republican National Committee, 60% will be deposited into the campaign's general election account for retirement of debt. So as I was saying, that money initially was used to pay off the campaign debt or into the campaign's recount account if that debt has been paid off. The remaining 40% goes to the RNC operating account. And yeah, so that's where the money was going. But it's changed. The president has already begun fundraising for his new PAC, which is the Save America PAC. On Tuesday morning, the Trump campaign began earmarking 60% of donations received on his campaign website to Mr. Trump's new Save America PAC, which was registered with the Federal Election Commission on Monday by Trump campaign treasurer Bradley Crate. The remaining 40% of every donation still goes to the RNC. So what is this Save America PAC? Here you go. Headline from New York Times, Trump forms PAC in hopes of keeping hold of GOP. The PAC can accept donations from an unlimited number of people and spend to benefit other candidates allowing the president to retain influence in a party remade largely in his image. So, in case you're wondering why nobody has congratulated Joe Biden in the GOP on his victory, Donald Trump now is able to raise all of this money for this supposed recount effort, or whatever the hell he's doing, this defense fund, and that money will actually be used towards particular candidates, particular GOP politicians. Meaning that if you want to stay, or if you want a taste of that money, then you got to stay on Trump's good side by continuing to refuse reality. It all comes down, of course, to the money.